Well guys, Sky News decided it was a good idea to get Diane Abbott on the Sophie Ridge on Sunday show to talk briefly about Brexit, the grubby lowlives running around screaming about climate change, and of course the UK police. In this video, we are going to focus on what she had to say about paid protesters blocking the printing presses, which report claims is forcing the government into reclassing these hard-left groups as what they should be, criminal organisations. Obviously, blocking the printing presses has got the media up in arms that groups they have supported are turning against them. We all knew this would happen eventually. Even The Guardian came out and criticised them, which is like Diane Abbott getting a maths question right. Rare is an understatement. Anyway, as you would expect, Diane Abbott gave us another peach of an interview defending XR and claiming they protest legally, while also screaming about events in Dover and throwing out the usual buzzwords that at this point just fall on deaf ears, especially when it comes from Corbyn's ex-spunk trumpet and max-level race baiter Diane Abbott here. So let's see what she had to say.
Climate change protesters, Extinction Rebellion, targeted the printing presses of newspapers, including the Sunday Times, the Times, the Sun on Sunday, the Telegraph as well, the Mail. Do you have sympathy with what they were trying to do?
I think it's important to remind ourselves is that direct action, which is what those actions were, is actually legal. We also saw over the weekend blockading of the port of Dover by far-right and anti-immigrant activists like Britain First and the EDL. These tactics are legal, whatever we think of the people practicing them.
Well, Diane, you was the Shadow Home Secretary, yet you have no idea of a law that has been around for 40 years at this point. Not surprising to me, Albert Einstein, you certainly are not. But just so you know, the Highway 1980 states, if a person without lawful authority or excuse in any way obstructs the free passage along a highway, he is guilty of an offence. Meaning, it is against the law, it's not even up for debate at this point. But I guess, like Jess Pisslips, working in the Houses of Parliament does not mean you have the slightest idea what you are doing. Jess at least admitted not knowing what goes on in the Houses of Parliament. You try to hide it, but dim-wittedly show us how little you know on television, which is pure gold, and long may it continue. Of course though, as I said, she screams the usual buzzwords about the protests in Dover yesterday, except it's what we expect from her, so nothing new. But I will point out that the Dover protest did not block the highway. They actually did a go slow. XR glued themselves to the floor like the idiots that they are. But let's continue through. She has not finished yet.
So what do you think of the tactics of Extinction Rebellion? The Labour MP Don Butler tweeted yesterday before deleting the tweet, "Bravo, Extinction Rebellion, excellent work." Did she get it right the first time in your view?
I can repeat what I've said. These are legal tactics, and we don't want to talk as if it's not illegal to take direct action, because direct action has been legal since the time of the suffragettes.
So despite being told Dawn Butler jumped on the bandwagon before being told pull back, Diane Abbott doubles down because why not? She is more activist than politician. Decades in post, her constituency is still a shithole. That says it all really. Now, we have already seen that what these people did was against the law, and I would bet Diane Abbott already knew this. I'm also sure the Sky News host knows it as well, but for some reason does not pull her up on it. Now of course, Diane Abbott tries to legitimise it by cobbling them together with the suffragettes, but the host ignores the stupidity of that comment and moves on, so we will do the same.
I mean, there were reports this morning that the government is looking at reclassifying Extinction Rebellion as an organised crime group. Do you think that would be a good move?
That would be ridiculous. They're not criminals. They are protesters and activists in the tradition of the suffragettes and the hunger marchers of the 1930s.
I mean, you're saying that they're in the tradition of the suffragettes and the hunger marchers. I mean, some people listening to you may think that this is exactly the kind of worrying impact of cancel culture that some people are concerned about, trying to shut down voices that you disagree with, trying to stop the free press, and actually that you should be taking a much tougher line on Extinction Rebellion.
I'm taking a tough line on people's freedoms under law. We don't want to, in the COVID era, move into a time when people's freedoms are being clamped down on. Direct action is a legal tactic. It was used by the far right in Dover this weekend, and the same papers complaining about blockades were not complaining about anti-immigrant activist blockading Dover, and actually blockading ports is potentially far more damaging to the British economy than what happened at the newspaper plants.
So the host asked Diane thoughts on the government reclassifying XR an organised crime group, which is the least they should do. If I was PM, XR and BLM would be both labelled Marxist fuckpig terrorist organisations attempting to take control. They would be the exact words I used to announce it in a press conference also. Naturally though, Diane Abbott triples down and says these people are not criminals, despite the police arresting nearly 250 of them, and the countless evidence we have for the criminal acts they have committed not just this week, but since inception. Once again though, Diane goes back to the suffragettes because I guess that's what her media handler has told her to say. It's not even close to related, and a lot of what they did back then was actually illegal, so the argument does not hold up. You can actually tell though in the host's response just how stupid Diane Abbott's comments are, because the host looks to be idiot-splaining to her the basic facts of life. These low-life scumbags are criminals, end of story. The host also tries to talk to Diane Abbott about cancel culture, but we all know that is pointless. She 100% supports it, especially the press, because Labour need to cover up their treachery. Before Diane goes back to the far right and complains that the media did not go after the Dover protesters, which is bollocks. They did exactly the same as she has, calling them far right and all this bullshit just for defending our borders. On this basis, Diane Abbott is Shitweasel of the Week. I am calling it right now. But let's move on to the final clip, where Diane gets told she is going against the official Labour Party line and quadruples down because why the hell not?
I just want to read Labour's response to Extinction Rebellion, which was a free press is vital for our democracy. People have the right to read the newspapers they want. Stopping them from being distributed and printers from doing their jobs is wrong. Do you agree with the official Labour line on this then?
I think it's right that people do have the right to read what newspapers are saying, the articles, the commentary and so on. Fortunately, every single word that these newspapers are saying is available online.
So you see it for yourself. Diane says, fuck the Labour Party line and fuck anyone who does not use the internet. My activist friends want to block roads and generally be a bunch of scumbags, so it's fine if they disrupt people's lives and businesses. How is this not inciting people to do this is what I want to know. How they can get away with having Labour politicians essentially making excuses for these people is beyond me. But anyway, I am going to leave it there. I've had enough of this, and it's not really up for debate that Diane Abbott's an idiot who does not deserve the position she holds. And it baffles me that she was ever Shadow Home Secretary. I guess that is what happens when lunatics take over the asylum that is the Labour Party.
We're off!